Yeah, thanks, bud. Good luck.
Thanks, Mark. What's up? You enjoy Jared's talk there? Well, I don't know if I'll be able to get this on in 20 minutes, but hopefully before South Park season finale tonight. So, all right, JavaScript for front-end development. Let's get one thing clear here. I'm going to be giving you things and showing you things that are really popular on most websites. I would say 95% of websites have things that I'll be going through today. All right, it's not for backend stuff. I'm not getting into Node. I'm not getting into any library except jQuery. I'm not getting into, you'll see what this is and what this isn't. But this is going to be stuff that if you're a backend guy, you always want to put stuff in the front. You can use these things. You can go home tonight and do it. It'll be pretty clear. So let's get on here. What are we doing? We're going to implement some stuff on most websites. And what I kind of model this out to do is we're going to go through it with jQuery, we're going through it with JavaScript. Most people who are programmers or designers, or if you've ever done anything on the internet, try to make something, cute and dynamic and then, all this stuff, you've probably seen jQuery, you've probably tried to use it. You've probably always heard jQuery is easier than JavaScript. So I'll show you what we're doing with jQuery. We're doing JavaScript. jQuery is JavaScript. We're not going to get into any of that stuff. Don't worry about that. Let's see. What are we going to learn? I already got that. And that's it. Well, also, a lot of these techniques is things that I have practiced, that I've used, that I went from zero to whatever I'm doing now, using a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about. I'm going to kind of share with you my path to get here. It worked for me. It might work for you. Let's carry on. This is me. I'm Tyler. You can follow me on Twitter, Tyler Online, and everyone here already follows me pretty much. So a few non-bit wizards people. It's me. And a year and a half ago, I was so scared of JavaScript. I was like, I'll never be able to grasp that. That is not me. I didn't know left from right. With jQuery, I couldn't do anything. I got a job. I was living in London at the time. I got a job. And my second day, I had to code up a page. And so I did all HTML, CSS. And then my boss said to me, great, looks good. I go make this happen. I was like, oh my God. I sat down next to the guy. He goes, how's your JavaScript? I said, novice at best. I thought I was lying because it was zero at best. He's like, oh, you better learn. So I just had to do it. That's what it was. So today I write it every day. I really enjoy it. A lot of stuff makes sense to me, and hopefully I'll share some of that with you guys. What are we not doing today? Oh, come on. We're not going to get into any high-level concepts. We're not going to get into browser compatibility. We're not going to get into the best way to do something. Some of what I'm going to show you might be the best way to do something, but it will work. It's up to you to apply that to your own coding techniques, your styles, to learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Also, what is the best way to do something and what's not a best practice. Okay, we're not going to get into best practices because that's you could spend months and years learning that kind of stuff, and everyone has their own opinions. So I'll just show you my things. So let's get started. What are we gonna do? I'm not gonna just say this, and you're done. I'll show you what we're doing. Ooh. That's what we're doing. This is jQuery. Over here, this is using jQuery. Looks like that. Don't look. And here's JavaScript. Just plain JavaScript. Okay, that's it. Looks like that. Don't look. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's what I will walk through with you. It's not really going to be a tutorial, but in the process of explaining things, we're going to do that. All right? And all the code I'm going to show you is on CodePen. This is on the internet. I'll give you the link after. So if you need to reference anything, it's there. If you've never used CodePen, it's amazing. You can go here But on CodePen, then you can just start editing it yourself and save it to your own account, and play with it, and copy, do whatever you want to do with it. All right. So for people who never really messed with JavaScript code or front-end code, and if you want to get started with JavaScript, you have a new best friend now. I don't care who your old best friend is, your new best friend is console.log, okay? This is going to be your favorite tool when you're debugging. This is going to be the biggest helper to you, trying to figure out what's going on, if you have the right values, if you're accessing the proper variables, or you want to find out values, find out what you're playing with, okay? Console.log is your new best friend. It will never, ever, ever lie to you. It'll always tell you exactly what you tell it to tell you. If you ask for something, it'll say, this is the true value of what you're asking. Lives in the console. His best friend might not be yours, but his best friend, and I suggest you use it as a Chrome DevTools. I know a lot of people here are Microsoft guys. I don't care. Use Chrome DevTools. They are amazing. I'm not saying use Chrome as your browser. I don't care if you use Google or Chrome as your browser, but Chrome DevTools is one of the best tools that, as a developer, exists today, especially for JavaScript development and for front-end code. I took like an online course in Chrome DevTools, and there's a million things to do with it. You can measure performance. You can do a lot more things than just see what your page is doing. But the cool thing about console is Chrome DevTools has a console in it, so you can write an entire JavaScript program in the Chrome DevTools. You don't even have to open a code editor. You don't have to share the files. So console.log and Chrome DevTools are a really good team to use. The console has a bunch of other stuff you could do with it. There's a link there that if you want to look at this on the internet, you can get. But console.log is your new best friend. Okay? The way it works is you say, it's just a method that you're calling. You say, give me something, or tell me something, and it's going to tell you what it's going to tell you. You put this, I have console as a shortcut in my editor. That's how much I can't speak highly enough of console. So I'm going to really drill that home, and you're going to see it through all the code that we're going through today. Let's see, what's next? I forget. So when you're starting JavaScript, this is, okay, the first few things here are going to be really, as programmers, probably things you're already familiar with, but I'm just going to go through it real quick so we can see that A, it's working in JavaScript, B, how it works. Spoiler, it works the same. So once we get 2 or 3 into this, then we'll start having some fun. So when you're doing JavaScript development or whatever, you shouldn't really do much with the page until your document is finished loading. So you want to know what you have in your document, and you want it all to be there before you really interact with it. You tell it to do A and B and this and that, or else you could get errors. Not always, but that's something else. Generally, you want to wait until the content is loaded. How we do that jQuery? Document ready. The verbiage in jQuery is really, really simple English, I found when I was starting to learn it. There's, what are we saying? We're saying, is the document ready? Yeah. If so, do this stuff. Okay? We're doing, believe it or not, it's almost as easy with just vanilla JavaScript without jQuery. You're saying, we're listening for an event on the document, and the event is the DOM content loaded. Once that happens, then do this stuff. And this is going to act the exact same way in jQuery as it will in JavaScript. So a while ago, I would just start every JavaScript document I had with document.ready. And until one day, 6 months ago or something, I don't know, I found this handy little guy. And it works exactly the same. All of a sudden, I'm starting to phase out the jQuery in my development. Few reasons for that. One, jQuery is a whole other HTTP request. 2, it's, I don't know how big it is. I think it's 19 kilobytes, or I don't know, but there's extra bytes you're sending to the user. And 3, all it does is do the exact same thing in JavaScript. If I can do this in JavaScript, that's what this does. So why would I go through this tool when I can just do it myself? Why would I hire someone to do it if I can just do it myself? It's going to be more expensive, on the server, it's going to be more expensive for the program. So a lot of things in JavaScript are just as easy in jQuery. It's just you didn't really know about it before. I didn't. I know a lot of people here don't really experience it. Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
I have a question. I think I've read a couple different viewpoints on, like, let's say you want to put your JavaScript inline in the page. Some people say, like, the header section.
Yeah.
You'll also see people write it at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
With the idea that the DOM gets loaded before you're actually running any.
Yeah. So the general best practice, accepted best practice now is put it at the bottom of the page, because the browser will read the DOM from top to bottom, and you don't want to stop anything from loading on your page, or you don't want anything to error on your page if it's not there. So if you're loading your JavaScript at the beginning, you're going to have a little bit of a lag before you see the actual content of your page. Content is king on the internet. Front-end pages, it's all about content. If there was no content, there would be anything else. You can't do anything. Your JavaScript doesn't do anything if there's no content. So you need to serve that to the user first, and generally it's put at the bottom of the thing. That's where it's at. You had a comment, Steve, or a question?
I don't know.
All right, cool. Let's carry on. Make it real quick here. All right. So a lot of times, actually, scratch that. Every time you do a function, every time you do a call method, anything, you want to know the truth. Okay? The truth rules everything in JavaScript. And I'm not saying always evaluate Boolean statements, true, false, but just like console.log will never lie to you, and kind of ingrain that in your programming. So what we're doing here is we're using an if-else statement. Everyone is probably familiar with if-else statements. Okay? Stop me if I'm wrong, but JavaScript works the exact same way. You use if-else, if-else, else, all the time, everywhere. Okay, and you can read through that, but I'm pretty sure everyone is pretty familiar. Am I wrong? Are we good with this? Okay, we're good. So if I'm going over anything, just tell me to stop. Just the same thing. Yeah. Man, I should have practiced this on the surface first. Okay, we can get loopy. Loops are fun. Loops and if else is what you're probably going to write 90% of the time. You're doing any sort of function, any sort of action in your programming. And for loops are no different than any general programming language. It's all JavaScript is pretty easy, and it's pretty similar to your base building blocks are pretty similar to every other programming principle you got. So loops. Does anyone have any questions on loops and how they work in JavaScript? Because it's the same that you would. Loops, it has a beginning, has an end, and it has an increment. So what do you do after every time? I'm using my friend there, console, to tell me something. All right, so set it and forget it. I'm not saying forget it. When I wrote this, I had this in caps, set and get in caps, but then I forgot. I transformed all the pedals there to uppercase, so you can't really get that effect. But this is a setting and getting kind of thing. So it's really easy to set and get attributes, parts of text. You can pretty much change anything in JavaScript. I think that's the point of it, to make this do that. So here, what we're doing with this jQuery is right now we have a link. Okay, you can see right here, I wrote it to go to Google. But with the jQuery, I'm saying with the attribute method right here, attr, you're saying find the attribute, whatever you put in here, it'll find. So I'm just saying find the href of the link ID. Okay, so we have a hash or a pound that indicates an ID, a dot indicates a class. I have the same ID here on the HTML I wrote. So this has an ID of link. And the jQuery is saying, get me the href attribute of the link. And console is going to console to google.com. You can see that. Here I'm opening up Chrome DevTools. I'm going to my console. And the whole page consoles came out. And right here, google.com. It came out. And I'm not lying to you. Now there's a console. I did write Google there. But you can change these. And it's really easy to change this. You see, it's the exact same method, and what it's doing is accepting another parameter to change that attribute to whatever you say. I could make it say, "Hi, my name is Tyler," and it'll say, and that won't be a web page because that's not a web page. So I'm calling the same element. I'm looking for the href attribute and changing it to smashingmagazine.com. The result, this doesn't go to Google. Even though I typed to Google, I changed it to go to Smashing Magazine. Bless you. No JavaScript. Bless you. I would say it's a little bit easier without jQuery because the verbiage is a little bit more plain English. What are you doing here? This does the exact same thing as this one does, but instead of HETR, you're saying get the attribute href, get the href attribute of this element. Okay, so I got the href attribute of the element that has the ID link. And as you can see, this has the ID link. And that goes to google.com. You bring up your console again. Oh man. There it is right here. That's the one coming from this guy. So if you want to change it, I mean, if you can remember, set it and forget it, said by the great Ron Popeil, you're setting the attribute. You're setting the href attribute to, it accepts the second parameter to what you want to change it to. Okay, vanilla JavaScript in this instance makes it really easy and straightforward. You're getting the attribute and then you're setting the attribute. That's a useful thing you'll use that you can use in any of your front-end applications, and you will use it. I use it on the current project I'm doing. Are we good there? Anyone have any questions about this one? Here we can see what's going on here. This is going to Smashing Magazine as well. As I said, set the href attribute to Smashing Magazine. You have a question? Just keep on going. All right, let's do it. All right. This is where we start having fun. Every interface, every web application, what you want, it's interaction driven, right? I don't go to a website to just read. Even going to Wikipedia, I go there to find links and to find more information. I can interact with the page. I can, close sections and open sections. If you don't have interaction, you're failing with the web interface. Okay, I'm sorry. Interaction is the key, and that's why we use jQuery and JavaScript. You can use some CSS for that, but that's not today. So interaction, you want to listen for events. Events are called when the user does something. And in jQuery, it's pretty easy to kind of see or find what the user is doing, because almost every event, whether it be like a touch, a swipe, a hover, any sort of mouse movement, anything that the user might do to your page, to your application, jQuery probably has a method for it. And this one, so we set up, all we have right here is a div with the ID, the box. Okay, so now we're saying, and there's the box. So now we're saying the box ID element, whenever there's a click action. So that interaction event you're listening for is a click, okay? We're going to do this stuff. It doesn't matter what it is right now, because right now it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. I just made a call to the console. You finally click down here. Okay, so in jQuery, I could change this to submit if it was a form. So when the form is submitted, then do this action. You can do that with validation, or check if the user is allowed to submit, or you want to show a pop-up before they submit, whatever. So in jQuery, it's pretty easy. The verbiage is pretty good, and you can find a lot of this stuff. jQuery has their API. It's all online. I mean, jQuery is an open source thing, so it's documented really well. And when I was learning jQuery and JavaScript, I found that really helpful. I'll give you some links and resources at the end.
I do have a quick question. What's the difference between a submit event and a click event?
Well, the click event, there are two different events. So a click happens when you click on something, but a submit is when the form does a submit action. Okay, so I can click on the submit button. Is it getting submitted? Probably, because that's what the submit button does. But if I click on this, that's not going to submit anything because that's not us. That doesn't have a submit action tied to it.
I couldn't write the function.
You could write a function that when you click on this, then to submit the form. That's something else though. That's you're invoking an action.
Submit is an event of the form.
Yeah.
Click is an event of the button.
Yeah. That's true. So what I've done in the past to use those two at the same time is I watch for a click on the button, and then at that point, I make the form not do what it's supposed to do. Instead, I run through these validations, and then if it's all good, if we're good, then I will make the form submit itself. And then there could be another function that says whenever this form is submitted, then do this other stuff. All right, does that kind of clear up a little bit that stuff? Yeah, we're good. Any questions on the jQuery side of things? No, we're good. All right, it's pretty much as easy in just without jQuery. A theme you'll see throughout this whole thing is JavaScript is easy. If you decide you want to do jQuery because it's easier to learn, it's less to type, 98% is easy just without jQuery. And I'm not saying I hate jQuery. I love jQuery because it's very powerful and you can do a lot of things with it. But if you can achieve the same kind of things with JavaScript, why would you use jQuery? Right? It's not necessary for a lot of things. So what we're doing here, document.get element by ID. I'm using that, using the previous one where we didn't really explain it. But what I'm doing is I'm saying, get an element from the document and it has this ID. And the ID is the box. All right? In our HTML, we saw that it has the box. Okay, this element has the ID, the box. So that's what I decided to use. Now what are we going to do with that? We're going to listen for an event. Add event listener. A long time, when I was in high school, I was trying to learn like sort of ActionScript, and that's where I first heard of add event listener or whatever. That's copy and paste, let's do it. But when I started learning JavaScript, it makes a lot of sense. What are you doing to that element that you're calling? What are you doing to it? Well, first, you're going to add an event listener to it. You're going to listen for this action to occur. And what action are we listening for? Well, it's a click. Almost as easy as jQuery. You're writing an extra maybe like 20 characters, but it's not that big of an effort, and you're not going to have to look up much to do. So add event listener is something you'll use a lot in JavaScript, and it's really easy to tell it what to look for because you just think, what do I need this to do? I need it to happen when there's a click, when there's a swipe, when they start hovering over it, when there's when it leaves this area. For the purposes of this, I'm listening for a click. And then what am I doing? I'm doing this stuff. The result, here. You finally click without jQuery. That's what just happened. We can do it again. Did it twice. All right, so these two do the exact same thing, the exact same amount of lines. Any questions on events? Cool. All right. Now another thing that you will do you want to make these guys bigger?
I saw the last one on that first event listener you had there. You also passed it a false parameter.
Yeah, that's for do you want that? Oh, where'd I go?
Reset your string and just do whiskey plus.
Oh yeah. All right. Here, let me. Oh. No, that's. Can you drag this?
Is that?
Do you drag this?
You move, just move your mouse.
Oh, what? Oh, man.
Scroll your mouse. Is it not scrolling?
Nope. You're just messing me up here, Randy.
No, and change it to 125. And drop it down. And click on 200. On 200.
You're on the 100 there? You can't click on that.
Oh, okay. Hit the plus sign then.
That just goes right to 200.
Oh, shit, 200. Okay. There you go.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't make it bigger. I can do a lot of things. That's not one of them. All right. So class manipulation. First, you're going to want to detect classes, and you might want to add them. You might want to take them away. These are really good for any type of, response from the page that you want to give your user. If I do something, I want to know that what I did had some sort of effect. That might be in the next. Let's see. Nah, that's here. All right. Yeah, so when you're interacting with someone, when your user is interacting with someone, it expects to get some sort of feedback that they did something, whether it be wrong or right. You want to guide your user and tell them, yeah, that's cool, or you shouldn't have done that. When the iPhone first came out, it was all great, but a lot of complaints people had was that I can't tell if I'm typing or if I'm doing anything on screen. My dad loved his BlackBerry because he could type without looking at it, and because he has the button interaction and response from his phone. The iPhone, you didn't have that. A lot of phones now you don't have that because you want to know as a person that what you did worked or didn't work, and you should try something else. If I just click right here, that might do something, but that tells me, since nothing happened, that it didn't do anything, or it isn't supposed to do anything. So one thing that's really good to add to your interfaces, and you do it with JavaScript, with jQuery, is to add feedback. And that's where we get into the classes here. So I have my box. I still have just the box. All right, sorry, I added a line of text. It tells you, click the box to proceed. So we have our box. And we start the exact same way we started last time. We start with a click event on this element. We're using our if statement. The jQuery method has class is pretty straightforward. You want to say it'll give you true if it has the class, and it'll execute, if it's an if statement or whatever. If not, it'll evaluate to false. Okay. So has class is really, really helpful when you're detecting what's on your elements, and that's in jQuery. So right now, actually, we'll have to load this again because I already clicked on it. So right now we're looking for, does it have the class bad? All right, and red is there. Does it have the class bad? If it does, since we're instructed to click once, if it has the class bad, we're going to remove that class by calling the remove class method. Pretty straightforward there too, right? It's not that difficult. Remove class. I know what that's going to do. And jQuery is set up most ways to be exactly that way. It'll tell you exactly what it's going to do just by the name of it. So if it has a bad class, we're going to remove that one and add the class good. So this element that we interacted with, we're going to remove the bad class and add the class good. If it doesn't have the bad class, we're going to assume that since it starts with a class of bad right here, that the user has already clicked on it, and that they should be alerted that they can proceed because they should follow instructions to only click once. So we'll see what happens. Click the box once to proceed, and I click it again. On CodePen, you see that alert come up. Here it does not. Whatever. Anyway, so that's the jQuery side, and we're doing the exact same thing over in JavaScript. Again, we have a bad class. We have this one, the last one. We have our if statement, if this, and then you're looking for the classless property. You're going to get with class list that has a bunch of methods on it. And this one we're looking for is contains. It says the exact same thing as has class. You know, does this class list contain dad? If so, we have this if statement. If so, then do this stuff. If not, do other stuff. So if so, what did I say? We're going to remove it from the class list. We're going to remove that from the class list. And then we're going to add the good class. And if not, same thing, alert. Hey man, you should have proceeded. So we popped once. We'll pretend an alert popped up because it did. This is just an iframe. So that's pretty straightforward. You don't have any questions on here? Right, so we're pretty good. So far we've done ifs and if else, we've added classes, we've looked for events, we always console stuff. Look at how full my console is. Man, that's full. Alright, so carrying on. So you gotta stay in style here. You gotta you might want to add classes, and man, you know what's not showing up? Sorry. I have use cases on here, but for some reason it's not showing up on the screen. Anyways, it's besides the point. You'll get it on the internet if you want to go. You can add styles, and styles are CSS. So jQuery decided to call that CSS, and it takes multiple parameters as well. The first one, what CSS property are you going to access? Second one, what are you going to make it equal to? So all we're doing, we're good up to here so far. That was all the last one. And now, on top of adding the good class, we're going to change the width of our element, or the box, to be 10 rems wide. You could have done that in your class, but that wouldn't have worked for the sake of this presentation. If not, I didn't change anything else there. So we're going to click the box once. Hopefully, we're going to remove the bad and add the good. And that's what happened. And we also changed the size. So CSS is a good one you'll use. Now we're doing the same thing here. So we've covered all this stuff. We're not only changing the class, we're going to change the style. So take the style of this element that we use, the style, the width, we're going to make that equal the same value. And that I think is more intuitive than CSS. We're changing the width of the style width style of that element. I think JavaScript in this one got it right, and jQuery didn't need to change what it does. So it does the exact same thing, just with style. Any questions on style? We're good with styles? So we've got classes and styles so far. Just a quick note on this one. You're not going to find too many times where this will be the best way to do it, because CSS can handle a lot of this stuff. However, one thing that I found, especially on a project I've been doing, is do I know how big the elements are supposed to be on the screen? Not every time. They might be dynamic. These two elements might contain different things every time, but I want to make them equal the same as each other. So what I'm doing is I'm dynamically telling it the style to be, and I'll make some sort of calculation for the sake of this, let's say 10 rems, when I can't apply that in a class because it won't be that every time. So when you need to manipulate the styles on a page and a class won't work for you, or you can't do it in CSS and won't be consistent, this is a good way to go. Okay, here's where we get to kind of what everyone thinks of jQuery is adding animations. Right? Animations make it fun and look all cool, and you could do it really easily in jQuery. In JavaScript, we'll get to that. So we're the same up to here. Okay, we're still good with the click. We have we check to see if the statement or the class contains bad. If it does, we're going to remove it, and then we're going to add the good class, and we're going to change the size of it. If it doesn't have the class is bad, that means the user has already clicked on it and changed it to good. And that also means if the user clicks on it again, they're done. But they're not following instructions. So a little quick side note, I listened to a great talk once to say that, propose the idea that the user is not dumb, they're just drunk. Because when you're drunk, you're not dumb, you still know how to do stuff, you still know, to do basic things, and you could do it. But if you're drunk, you might get instructions confused, you might not follow to the best of your capabilities, the best that you're able to other times. So don't treat the user as if they're dumb and they need to be told, this is how you do this, this, and this, and this. Treat them as if they're drunk, and just make it a little bit easier for them to get from point A to point B.
That Ron Popeil also?
No, that was not the great TV salesman Ron Popeil. That was someone else. What? No, that was the guy from Australia. All right, so now we have to animate this. We have to move it we're going to move it out of the way. If they click on it, if I want to click on it again, I'm going to move it out of the way so I can't click on it anymore. And how do we do that? Well, jQuery makes it so easy. And this is the real power of jQuery, is the animate method. Okay, you're just telling it has the whole object of things to animate, and you can just keep on adding different whatever you want to animate. For this one, I'm going to make the left margin of it, or the left position of this element, 200 pixels from the othermost document. I'm going to move it left 200 pixels to 200 pixels. Okay? Animate is actually, I would say, pretty powerful in jQuery. It does what it's supposed to do. It does what it says it's going to do, and it's so easy for you to use. Because if you want to do the same thing in JavaScript, well, right now this is what, like maybe 9 or 10 lines of code. We're adding all of this in JavaScript, JavaScript. We're adding if statements, we're setting a timer, we're going to make sure it keeps on happening until something is no longer true. Anyways, so the result is I click it again, it moves out of the way. It animated to the left, 200 pixels. Pretty simple. jQuery is pretty easy to use in that regard. Now, in JavaScript, it does the same thing. I already showed you what we're going to do. I Tarantino'd it. But for that, we have to find out where it is first. And then we have to find out where it's going to be. And then we have to create a title function which exists in the global namespace. And we have to keep on adding pixels to the left of it if it's not there yet. So I nested an if statement in here that says if the current position of that element is less than the end position, so every time this function is called, I'm using recursion here, so every time this function is called, I'm calculating the current left style of the element, and that returns to you a string, so I have to parse the integers from it. And so I'm saying if the current is less than where we want it to be, which is the beginning plus 200 pixels, then I'm going to add, and I just picked an arbitrary value in there. You can change that to 1 pixel or 0.5 pixels, make it go slower. And then as long as we're in there, we're going to go do the same function again. And that executes every 5,000th of a second or 500th of a second. Something like that. But anyways, the point is, in JavaScript, animation is a little bit more tricky. I didn't really even try to venture into animation until recently, the last couple months. Mostly because once I started trying to use jQuery, I looked up how to do animation. It was this long, and I said, forget it, I don't want to mess with that. But if you try and figure it out on your own, it's actually not that complicated. It's once you start adding in different capabilities of your animations, you want to keep on doing it, make it foolproof. That's when you're getting into hundreds of lines of code. Anyways, that's what we did. Oh, we're going to keep on going. I can do the same thing here. No, I can't. You didn't see it. All right, so the point of all this, I don't want you to go home and make a box box and change it from green to red and then move it. What is that going to do? Probably nothing for any project that you're working on or that you want to work on. What I want you to do is say to yourself, write it down, think of it, I don't care, tell someone, I want to make this do A, B, and C. And then start working on A, start working on B, start working on C, and use stuff you might have learned here. Use the internet. I'm going to give you a bunch of resources. Just make something, make anything. But make it, practical for you. Don't going home and changing a box from red to green probably isn't practical to you. Like that sucks. This was the first thing I made. This is what I was telling you about. I sat down at my desk and I made this look. They gave me a picture of this and said, okay, make it. And I made it. It's a dynamic HTML page. It's fine. There's a static one. But then my boss also said, okay, now make these move up and down. And I looked at him and said, yeah, no problem, I can get it done. And I thought to myself, how am I going to do this? I have no idea where to start on this. Because the only thing I've ever used before this time that I faked my way into getting a job was like other people's plugins. And I was like, yeah, of course I know what's going on. So I sat down and the guy next to me, like I said, how's your JavaScript, man? He was like, you better learn, because at this job, that's what we did. We rarely wrote like the code because it was so, the backend program we had gave it to us pretty good already. We were in charge of writing all the JavaScript, and these sites had 20 JavaScript files that you pretty much had to know what was going on in all of them. So here I am, my first week, and I'm like, I'm gonna get fired because I don't know JavaScript, I don't know jQuery, and this is all I had to make it do. And that was the first thing that I did where I actually understood everything that's going on there. That's what I did, and it was practical because I was at an e-commerce company. This is an e-commerce page, so it was for my job, and also I was going to get fired if I didn't do it.
You're no longer in London, though, huh?
No, I live here now. Yeah, they eventually caught on and said, we know you're faking. Yeah. Yeah, that worked out well. Yeah, no, it was actually a really good job. Yeah, pretty good. But yeah, this is the first thing that I did where I was pretty proud of this. And I came home and showed my roommate. I was like, man, check what I did. I can make it move up and down because, like, to me that was amazing. But and that's where I was. This was last November, the very beginning of last November. And now, like, I'm here talking about it, saying it's easy. But I was exactly where a lot of people are, like in this room. You might not have ever used JavaScript or tried to do it on your own. That's what I did. And so, how did I get there? Nope. All right. So how did I get there? I did a lot of work just because I had to. Not like I wasn't sitting at home trying to learn JavaScript. I had a job before that where I was more doing Photoshop stuff, and I tried to get a guy to teach me JavaScript, and he was like just giving me concepts that was going way over my head. And this guy was really, really amazing and really good. He's like, no, you should be doing it this way. And he was trying to teach me best practices and all this stuff. And while I was really excited to try and learn that, I just couldn't learn it because nothing was happening on my page. I was just writing like console and writing to the console all the time. It was pretty boring. So I learned it after that at this other job because I had to. One, because I ran out of money really quickly in London. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's super expensive. So I ran out of all my money before I started this job. Because I went over there with no job, and then I just looked for a job. I was like, yeah, I'll find one. So I ran out of money, and so I learned it because I had to, because I wanted to keep my job, because I wanted to eat. Also because I really like it. And I really like making stuff, making web pages and making stuff work and building things. I really like doing all that. So I got to a point where I could do a lot of stuff with jQuery. And I was working with a really, really good team there. And they all knew way more than me. So I was just like sucking up information wherever I could get it. I worked with a guy and we had a really good rapport, and he would help me debug everything. Every time I couldn't find what was going on, I'd be like, Pete, come help me. You kind of like, I felt bad, and I felt like he was judging me because I shouldn't be at the job. And he was like, well, how are you getting into this function? What is your variable doing? And that's where I became really good with console.log, because I consoled everything, and I could read it in Chrome DevTools. That's going to be it. If you choose to move forward and choose to try and, get your hands on this, I'm not lying to you. Console is going to be your best friend there. And you can do everything in the console. I can do it right now. And just go to the console and be like, console.
Hey Tyler, have you ever used Web Matrix? Is that Chrome DevTools? Just close that away.
I have not used Web Matrix, but if that's your tool of choice, I urge you to give Chrome DevTools a chance. There's a lot more you can do this than just have the console. You can measure a lot of stuff on your page. I can't get into it because it'll take me forever. That's going to be your best friend trying to debug your programs, find out if you have the right things, if what you're getting is what you're expecting. Here's a list of stuff that I use pretty often. A really good one is going to be a search engine. Any search engine you want to go to, just type in JavaScript change class, and you'll find 5,000 answers on Stack Overflow about how to do something. You'll find everyone and their brother has written a tutorial about how to make a JavaScript plugin, how to make a JavaScript something, how to use jQuery. One thing I like about that, really strong community, and you can learn a lot from these people. One thing I do not like about that is I can show you how to change the box from red to green 100 times. Is that really practical to you? No. Like, you want to just do what you need to do. Use it in your applications. Figure out what you want to get done, and then figure out a way to get that done. Don't just follow tutorials. I can be able to recite to you like every JavaScript best practice there is, but unless I can actually do it, what am I worth? Nothing. I'm just like a reference guide. I can't actually do anything for you. So if anything in life, but right now we're talking about JavaScript, if you want to get further in this, just actually do things and be able to do stuff. Here are a whole bunch of links, a bunch of Paul Irish, genius, God among men in the JavaScript world. You're going to want to follow him. You're going to want to find out who he is. CodePen, really strong community. You've seen a lot of the CodePen stuff I did today. That's peanuts. Like, I did those all. I only used CodePen because I didn't want to style up my own thing to look like that. But CodePen has endless capabilities, and there's a really strong community there. Stack Overflow, CSS strips, Chrome DevTools, the whole JavaScript documentation is right here. Here's one that I have it as my second favorite after Smashing Magazine is Mozilla Developers Network, and they have everything you can possibly do with JavaScript right here on their JavaScript page, and it'll have examples. It'll show you deprecated ways of doing things that you might need to use for some sort of legacy code. This is a really good one. Another one, if you want to just use jQuery, is the jQuery API. It's kind of the exact same thing as our Mozilla one, but it's all for JavaScript, jQuery specific stuff. Add class. It runs through exactly what I ran through here, except they document it more. And obviously they're smarter than I am. So here's a whole bunch of stuff. You can go in here. The link to get here, it says I am Tyler, and I'm from Canada. It says imtyler.ca/js-talk. Okay, if you want to ever reference it, if you want to go and look at this stuff, that's where it is. It's just really endless what you can do. Thousands and thousands of people know JavaScript, so the internet is going to be your best resource. Just find someone's already done it, and then take what you need, apply it to your thing, and build off of it that way. And then you'll be able to just write it on your own. A few weeks ago, we had a slider that wasn't really working, and I was getting so mad with this slider. I was like, screw it, I'm just going to make my own slider. So I made my own slider because this plugin, it was great. It does all this stuff. It was an amazing plugin, but it just wasn't working in our situation. So I said, screw it, I'm just going to make one that does what I needed to do. And I followed my own advice and just did what I need. So that's that. Any questions? Yeah, go for it.
So one of the biggest like failures
Yes.
jQuery is like they've already taken the time to kind of work out all those browser compatibility bugs.
Yeah. A really big advantage of jQuery is if you're not using jQuery 2.0, which dropped all Internet Explorer capabilities or cross-browser stuff, jQuery is really good because there's some things that certain browsers, got to start with the I, haven't taken on from the latest JavaScript releases, or they might use old ways to do things. So, and for example, in that slider we were doing, we're supporting Internet Explorer 8 on it, and I had to refactor some of my code so it worked in Internet Explorer 8 because it didn't accept some of the current methods. So, jQuery is really good for cross-browser stuff. Question? Most of you work with me, so I'm always available. If not, Twitter, Tyler9. This is my website, imtyler.ca. Well, this isn't it. This is just whatever. So you can email me at tylerbitwizards or hi@imtyler.ca. And imtyler.ca/jsdoc.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, guys. I can't even follow this mouse.
Yeah.